What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lowkey Legends podcast, where we talk to legends that are low-key. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Hugo.
And today we have a very special guest, my former teacher at Elmhurst. I don't know if we should dox that, but we have a very special guest, my former teacher. I really appreciate you coming on. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit, get to know a little bit more about your background, what you're about, and just how you've been over the last couple years now. So how have you been?
Awesome. I've been good. I know, Gabe, it might be weird to not call me Dr. Peagram, just call me Kortney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been good. I've been really good. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, we did not know that you had a hour drive or over hour drive here, but we really appreciate you coming out to us. So yeah, let's get going on it. So what's been new with you with Elmhurst, or your businesses and all that?
So that's a big question. I don't know if I have time to go through it all, but what's new? I work in a space of business psychology, where social skills, emotional intelligence, and all things feelings are coming into more and more decision-making skills, building people, retaining people. So I teach and then I do the consulting work. So that's been growing more and more. So some people call that executive coaching or any type of leadership training.
Okay, so for people who don't know what that is or don't know what you're about, what would you tell them about you?
So if I had a pitch,
yeah.
So I'd say I'm an executive coach, facilitator, and educator in the EQ space, emotional intelligence space. So I teach people how to manage their feelings so they don't make poor decisions or emotionally deregulate and lose opportunities.
So that sounds like you have a lot on your plate, right? How do you balance all of that?
So that's a great question. So balance is always a daily choice, and it's not you have to pick and choose how you're going to manage your time, prioritize, and often, I'm sure just like everyone here, you have competing priorities. So you have to make decisions on not what do I need now, but where do I see myself next week and what is getting me towards that goal versus I just got to get this off my task list.
Okay. So what would you say is a big misconception about the field you're in? Is there any big misconceptions that you come across often?
That people think I'm like a life coach, which that's not a problematic thing. So life coaching is something that's important, but I do social skills coaching. So I help you manage your emotions, think through decisions, strategically align yourself for either your career or what you want to do, or even work through big transitions in your life. And I feel like the life coaching got a bad rap. And then there's executive coaching. So it's I don't know if you're on social media, but everyone's a coach.
Yeah, that's what I was going to actually bring up next, because we know a lot of people like that. They're like, oh, I'm a business coach. And there's no substance to it. But I feel like you were doing that before the social media age kind of became, more social media life coaches came around. So I feel like you had a lot of, backing for your rep and all that for that kind of field.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that back me up. One, I have a PhD in business psychology. I spent 15 years training people on how to be coaches. So how to do so coaching is not just, hey, what's your problem? Let me fix it. That's consulting, right? Coaching is about reflective listening, understanding the problem, going deeper to feel if this is a pattern, is something repeating, it's really looking, so you really need that psych background. Then additionally, what coaching is you have to tell me what you want. I can't tell you what I think you need to do, because that again is consulting. Now, if I start talking about myself and my clients and all those things, I'm just being a mentor. I'm not even coaching. So the thing that's going convoluted is the definition and the terminology. So if you're going to mentor, that's very different than if you're going to coach. Coaching is a strategic approach to have you reflect on what you need versus me telling you what to do.
That was a very good description.
Yeah,
that was a very good.
That was the
definition.
first time I ever heard it in that type of way, because the way you see it now with influencers is just, I don't know, it's kind of chaotic in my opinion.
They also give I don't know if you guys seen it, but they give very what's the word, it's very broad and non-substance answers, as in hey, you gotta work harder. It's like, well, how? Like, how do I get myself to do that? But it seems like you are breaking down exactly what everybody needs to do.
So if someone's like, okay, a coach is like, you need to work harder. That, like you said, no substance.
Yeah.
So then you walk away feeling less than. Like
That's true. Yeah.
So it's not helping you. It's actually harming you. So if you're a motivational speaker, then just call yourself a motivational speaker. Don't say you're a coach. So there's business coach, money coaches, manifestation coaches, life coaches. Like they're all over the field. But what they're doing is they're tying the name coaching to what they are, but it's not what they're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're either consulting you, they're guiding you, but they're not coaching you. The minute I talk about myself or I say something that's out of alignment with you, that I'm no longer coaching you.
100%. You're taking somebody's weaknesses or skills and you're helping them become something better. You're not just telling them what's right or wrong and kind of walking away from them.
Right. So a coach would be like, ask you a series of questions at the beginning. Like, so sometimes they call it a needs assessment or just like a survey to get to know you. So let's stick to needs assessment because we'll use the business terminology. So then what I would do is I'd ask a series of questions on who you are, what's your background, and what are your strengths. If you can't name 15 of your strengths, right there I know that there's not a lot of stuff that I can tell you off the bat because you don't even know about it. So it's about digging deeper. What are the skills you bring to the table? Knowledge, abilities. Okay. So where did you go to school? What did you work on? Like, so we start to extract that. From that, then it builds like a pool of who you are. Then we have to figure out where are you struggling. So everyone can name their struggles. That's the easy part. And so a lot of coaches focus on that. But the thing is like, if you just focus on that, all you're doing is you're helping the other person like realize like, yeah, I know I suck at that. We got to figure out how do you get unstuck. And to do that is focusing, it's called strength-based coaching. It's a model in actual theoretical coaching. Because I talked about being a coach, but I also have a certificate and training in that field, right? So and there's theory behind it. There's research behind it. And there's models. There's ways of doing it. And if you just wing it like, oh, I'll tell you what to do because you're bad at time management, then I'm just consulting you. Yeah. And that's not helpful.
You're actually I didn't tell you this, but you're one of my favorite teachers I've ever had in, high school, middle school, college, whatever, because I felt like when I got to your classroom, like you said, you actually used those models you're talking about right now in the classroom. Like you made us feel like, okay, I'm actually really good at this, or like, I need to work on this, but not in like a demeaning way where like, oh, you're not good at this. You're just like, we can improve in this, and look at all your strengths. I remember you had us write our name and write like a bunch of like characteristics or strengths about us all around it, and I actually still have that paper till this day. Oh, that's cool. So I kind of look back to it every once in a while.
So that's called a SWOT. So a lot of people do it in marketing, like they use a SWOT. I use it for individual coaching and for my students. So you list out your strengths, but you put 15 on. The weaknesses, you can't have more than one. And it's buddy, the thing that's holding you back, always has something else tied to it. And then you list out all your threats, the things that are externally, like finances, time, people. And then you end with, what do you really want? So then your focus is on your strengths and what you really want, your opportunities. And then you figure out how do you get there without getting stuck with your weaknesses and your threats. So it's kind of like the getting unstuck. Because if you only focus on what's holding you back and your weaknesses, you're not looking at what's in front of you. It's like you're siloed. And so most of us in our schooling are siloed. You're not good at tests, then you're not good at school. You're not good at presentation skills, then you shouldn't be in business. But those are all false narratives that we start to believe, and then we don't focus on the things we're really good at.
So speaking of stuck, why do some people stay stuck even when they know better?
So why do people stay stuck when they know better? I think that they don't know any better. Meaning like that's all they see, right? So you can't get unstuck unless you see that there is other things. You're like siloed in your own thinking. It's like a cycle of, it's looping. So let's think about thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. I'm going to be a little psychologist on you right now. So there's certain emotions that come up every day when you wake up. So it could be happy, joyful, fearful, stressed out, right? And so those emotions run your thoughts. So if you wake up stressed out, the first thing you're going to think about is what's stressing you out, how. And our body and mind are meant to solve the problem so we feel safe. All we want to do is get back to safety. So we're going to stress out and be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to fix it. And then we're not mindful. We're just thinking about the thing. So then someone comes down and says, hey, how are you? What do you want? So then we snap at them, right? So then we're in a moment of what we call survival mode and stress. And so that keeps us stuck because we're looping the same narratives. It's like some of us are gymnasts in our head. So we're doing mental gymnastics. I mean, some of you could go probably to the Olympics at this point because you spend more time in your head than actually in the moment.
I agree.
So staying in your head, right? What would your personal advice be for someone that they know that they're stuck in their head, but like no matter what they do, they don't know how to release the anxiety and things like that? What piece of advice would you have for them?
So, and this is the advice I use daily. So the strategies I use, it's not like just like, oh, this is what you should do, right? It's stuff that I've tried and tested. So I'm an overthinker. I think through everything and 1,000 times. And then I actually play out the scenarios like A, B, C, right? So that's typically when you're trying to reduce your amount of stress and feel closer to safety. So the thing you have to do in that moment is like, yo, wake up. Like you're not, like no one's here. Like it's just you in your car. Like it's just you in front of your computer. These people aren't real and this is not happening. You're just playing it out to feel safe. So if you focus on being more mindful in like meditation, taking a walk, I call it my doorway move, where if I get really into my head, I'll walk through a doorway. Just change your scenery and it'll reset you. Another thing I found really helpful to change you is when you call it out, like instead of just being in your head, you just be like change or like switch or stop, like that. Saying it out loud then puts you back in the moment of like, oh, what was I doing? It's like when you drive mindlessly for like 45 minutes. What were you thinking about? And was that really helpful?
I was thinking probably about food.
So, I mean, that could be helpful, right?
Yeah.
And the other piece of advice that I found was really helpful was do something creative. When you're stuck and you're in your head, just do something creative. If it's cooking, if it's writing or putting ideas down, making music, anything creative gets you out of your mindset.
So you kind of talked about, the positive side of like what you can do to, fix problems like that. But what are like some common self-sabotaging behaviors you see with people?
I'm going to talk about my students first. So those are the ones that I see. They think they can't do it before they even started. And they don't think there's options because someone told them that wasn't a choice. Someone that wasn't even an expert or within the field said, no, you can't do that, and they believed it.
Usually it is people that are not in the field telling you can't do it. Yeah.
So like I have this extremely talented artist that like does beats and stuff. He's a business major. His parents said, you just have to take over the company, which is a car wash, right? So that's what you're going to do. That's what you're good at. That will make money. That will give you like safety, like financial, right? He is brilliant. He's sitting on something he's so brilliant, but he's focusing on what someone told him that you won't make money there. You won't, right? So two things happen. One, sometimes people have their best intent to keep us safe and successful, but what they believe is not the truth, right? Because we know artists that are super successful, right? And so what happens is often people believe what someone's opinion versus an actual fact, or what are your options. Additionally, we have so much access to information, but we're still all siloed, right? Because if you feel like, well, I need to go to college and get a degree because that's what makes it, that's not true. Not everyone should go to college. Some people should, some people shouldn't. Like, it's a personal choice. But if you went with that mentality, then you're going to feel most of your life, because you didn't have that degree that you had the expectations to have, you're going to feel less than. So in a meeting, you show up feeling less than or someone more confident. The more confident, according to the laws of power, will get the job, and you will not. And it's not the degrees.
See, I think I respect that so much about you. The fact that you said that you don't have to go to college. I mean, I've talked to a lot of professors like, no, like I remember I had a professor, he was kind of like saying like, yeah, like everything he taught us was like, okay, let's work super hard to make you the best worker possible. But like that feels, I feel like you like closed, like you kind of put a cap on what you think we can become. But I feel like as far as your mindset, you're trying to have, you know, your students or anybody you're coaching be like the best version of themselves that they can be.
Right, and everyone's different. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 5? AI is taking over a lot of AI is taking over a lot of people's jobs, and everyone's so afraid. Not everyone, but I think parents and people within my generation and entering the workforce are really afraid of AI. But it was just like when computers started, everyone was terrified of computers.
Exactly.
Things shift. So there's new jobs. Every time a job ends, there's a new job created. But we have to be aware of that. Like, it's not, things are constantly evolving. So it depends. Some people need to go to college. So obviously, if you want to be an engineer or a nurse, like, you need to go to college. Like, you need the education. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be, there's different paths for everyone. So it's finding your path.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely agree with like the mentality you have, because most people think that one direction, that they gotta go to school, but like you say, you don't have to go to school. As long as you're passionate about what you love and what you love doing, mainly, that's already freedom for you. Though, I mean, you're gonna probably struggle at the beginning, trying to make money and stuff like that. But eventually, if you just keep going and going, that one song, that one art, or whatever it is that you're doing, will eventually like blow up in the internet and make you some money eventually.
Yeah, I feel like even if you are struggling, you're kind of enjoying it because you're doing what you love to do.
Yeah, and you get to laugh back at
Yeah.
it once it's all said and done, you know.
100%.
Because it's the journey, right?
Right.
And so, but you said things that were really, 2 things that were really, like caught my attention. Is one, like, so you're going to struggle and it's going to be hard, and you meant like financials. But what if it's not? Right? So you guys set this up, you found deals on everything. It wasn't difficult, right? There might have been some struggle, but we met him. We have this mindset and this mentality that comes from, I think, generations of, you're supposed to struggle, it's supposed to be hard, like, and then failure is bad, and like success is all like, what is that? Right? We spend our entire lives working. Some
Don't die.
yeah,
Yeah, my fault.
not today, not today. Sometimes I see people overworked and exhausted. So when I coach, sometimes it's people in their career transitions, so mid-40s, right? And they've made it financially. They've done all this stuff, but they're miserable. They missed their children's growing up. They've missed a lot of parts of their lives, and they did something they didn't even believe in. So then money is useless. Like, what are you gonna,
Yeah.
like, right?
It's about the, like how you were saying, like the journey to get there, right? You can be driving to like middle of nowhere, Iowa, or you can be driving to Florida. You know what I mean? So it just depends on like what you really want at the end of the day.
Right.
But one thing I do gotta say is that like I feel like I mean, yeah, for sure you don't have to struggle, but there is like part of the being in the situation where you're struggling. I feel like you get more creative in a way for like, especially like artists, like
I agree. Yeah.
you can be like anyone from Chicago, like Kanye or Drake or Kendrick
Right.
Lamar, people that came like from like bad neighborhoods and stuff like that. All that struggle made them creative to write songs that we have now today. And it doesn't have to be with songs; it could be with like anything else.
Right. No, so you bring up a good point. So I think resilience and grit helps you perceive and be creative, right? Because you're building something after your own experience. So, but I think sometimes there's roadblocks and mental blocks that we put in front of ourselves that don't have to be there for the struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, because that's when you kind of overthink things a lot.
Exactly. Right? So we put these things in front of us. We already have our own crap. Like, we're full of baggage, right? And then we show up and like, well, I can't do this. Like, so here's a story. I used to, when I did anti-bullying, anti-violence work in schools, I was a psychologist, but I wasn't a social worker. And my mental block was, I shouldn't be here. I'm not a social worker. Do you know what? I was the best person to sit in a gym floor with students and talk to them about bullying, about how to be a better person. And it wasn't the degree, but the degree, because our degrees were slightly different, I always felt that I wasn't good enough to be there, that someone was going to catch me and tell me, like, you're not a social worker. Do you think the kids cared? Absolutely not.
I actually think that's a good thing that you're not. You know why? Because you're giving them a different perspective, a different look at it, right? It's like a different type of person, with different backgrounds, different life experiences, and not giving them the typical answers that they would hear from somebody who is a licensed social worker, right?
Right. And we did different things. Like it was right when group facilitation was starting to build up. And I was skilled in that. I was trained in that. But I wasn't a social worker per se. So my social workers that I had working for me at the time were great. But you were right. We were so diverse that we played off each other. We worked. But my mental roadblock, the thing you're talking, like the struggles that were real for me were like, I can't do this, or I shouldn't ask for this, so a lot of times it was me getting in my own way of success, where if I could go back to my younger self, I'd be like, you know what, there's social media people that call themselves life coaches that like they shouldn't, and they're making a lot of money, and here you are as like you have a PhD and you're like, ooh, I'm not a social worker, like, but you laugh, but we've all done it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, yeah, for sure. Even like with this, like when we would play back in ourselves, we're like, damn, why do I even sound like that? What am I even trying to say? Like that stuff gets into you, but you're like, it's fine, dude. At the end of the day, you kind of just have to take a breather and be like, it's fine. We're learning,
Right.
and that's how we evolve.
We're already a step ahead. Us sitting here right now doing this right now. I mean, it's already like a step in the right direction,
Right.
you know. So
I know.
yeah, I also wanted to add on one more thing to the struggle talk, right? I think also struggle is important. I want to get your opinion on this. I think struggling is important because when you get to that destination, you actually feel how amazing and how beneficial it is, and how, like, what's the right word for it? Like, you appreciate it more at the top than once you make it there.
It's like bliss. It's like, I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
We're like, I mean, obviously there's the mental struggles, but also the real struggles of building a business, of failure, of things happening in your life. And when you get to that point of, I made it, if you struggled and really worked hard, it's the most incredible feeling. And the journey is worth every step.
Exactly.
Right? So I think it is, you're right, it's a combo. It's like, get out of your own head. There's some struggles that are real, and there's some struggles that are like your imaginary. The real struggles, embrace them. The one in your head, don't let them stop you.
Right.
I have something to add to that too. I go to therapy once a week, and one of the main things my therapist says is what you tell yourself. Like, you can give yourself false thoughts and things like that. They're not true, but it really, whatever's going on in the world, like, the only thing that really matters is like what you say to yourself, actually. So
she or he?
It's a he. Yeah.
So he's 110% right, because two truths can run at the same time. So, and two people can go through the same exact scenario and have different perspectives of it. Someone can wake up in the morning and they got stuck in traffic. They spilled coffee all over themselves and they showed up at work late. Okay, two people go through the same thing. One's upset, think that, my day's ruined, I'm late, like this is, it's all like yelling at people in traffic, get to the meeting and like starts the meeting all wrong, makes poor decisions, screaming at people. The other one can be like, oh, if I'm really happy I'm late because like, I had time to finish that podcast I was listening to and it actually gave me a new idea to create something new. So now I'm more prepared for the meeting. Oh, and because I spilled coffee on myself, by the time I cleaned it up, I had a free open parking spot and I was able to like park right in front of the building. Same story. It's how you perceive it. So when you're looking for the negative, you always find it.
That's natural, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you start looking for, hey, there must be a reason. So I like to call it redirection, right? Someone said, oh, redirection, let's redirect. So sometimes I redirect my entire day, right? You have to find, and it's not toxic positivity. There's two ways of viewing a situation. What's the better outcome that will keep you motivated, hopeful, and safe?
Okay, well, now that we're kind of going down this road, let's kind of talk a little bit about like emotional intelligence. So the first question I actually had for you is, can you train somebody to become more emotionally intelligent, or is it something that's just natural?
Well, that's what I do. So yes, you can train people.
I'm setting you up for that.
Oh yeah, that was a good. That was
Yeah,
a
that's
good,
a good setup, right? Yeah.
Yes, you can. They have to want it. So we're not. Some of us are born with people that are empaths. Feel everything, right? And there's people in this world which they're in the moment and all they think about is that moment and nothing else. Like they never overthink, never question decision. So we have people on a spectrum, right? And so we have to get everyone to kind of be at each other's level so we can understand each other better. Emotional intelligence is to be able to have self-reflection and social reflection to empower, influence, and navigate situations for the better of all. That's how I see it. It's the ability to read a room, to regulate yourself, and also make other people feel seen and heard. And that makes incredible leaders. So it is a trainable skill.
Could you, when you're like in public, like at the store or something, can you like visually see and tell if someone is emotionally intelligent just from the eye? Or do you have to get to know the person and see a little bit of their habits first?
So usually, it depends of the situation. Because if like you saw me I'm extremely emotionally intelligent, but I also have social anxiety. So if I get thrown in a situation, like without thinking about it, and I'm in a situation, I might have social anxiety. And would you say in that moment I'm emotionally intelligent? Absolutely not. Like I'm socially awkward. So everyone has their moments, right? But you have to know that. So even in those moments, after that, I'll apologize to people like, hey, sorry, I was a little off. Like there was a lot of people and I just didn't feel like myself. So I do go back and explain the context. And that was a story that I had that it was, we had a big event and it was really warm in the event. And there was like 200 people and I just didn't expect that many people. So everyone was coming up to talk to me and it was like, my answers were short. I wasn't engaging. I wasn't energetic. That wasn't my usual self. So as an emotionally intelligent person, I just went back and like, hey, Bill, sorry about like last Friday. You know, I was just out of my element. There's a little too many people in the room for me. So that would show. So back to your question. In the moment, can you tell? Most of the time you can, there's certain tells you will see of people, but it's not 100% accurate because if you were to pick me in that moment, you would be like, what is wrong with that lady? What is going on? Because I was having anxiety, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're in a store and somebody barks at the cashier or is rude and inappropriate or dismissive, I most of the time, unless they might be having a bad day, but also they might lack of self-awareness, right? So I always say you always want to see how people treat others when no one's watching.
So a big correlation to being emotionally intelligent is being self-aware. Mm-hmm. Why do you think people struggle with being self-aware?
I think because it's not a technical skill.
Yeah.
Like you can go to school your entire life and no one's going to talk about like, do you know how you show up in a room? Mm-hmm. So where I feel the biggest disconnect is for like social awareness is it's not taught in class. So you went through my class and that we talk about self-awareness a lot. But some accountants that come into my class, they're like, I don't need to know about people skills. I'm an accountant. I'm like, well, you're going to have to work with people. Like, you're going to have to say, like, Sheila, the IRS is going to audit you. And you don't want Sheila to start crying and lose it. So you're going to have to, like, tell Sheila in a way that, like, she can be receptive. That is, it's the ability to have conversations to relate to others. And it's the ability to see how am I showing up and how are people receiving me. So in a snapshot decision, to close off that question and kind of go back to you, sometimes we can't see in the moment if someone is emotionally intelligent in a snapshot, but within a few minutes and a few interactions, you can be like, oh, they need a little help, or they're not really aware of what's going on. But everyone has their bad days, so.
So it depends on timing and basically the emotion they're in at that time. Okay.
Right, and what's a person holding on to, right? And so we're all balanced in a way that we can show up as our best version of ourselves or our worst version of ourselves. So which version is showing up, right? If my worst version is showing up, people will be like, I don't know why she's even like a executive coach. Like, but we all have bad days. So it's hard. That was a really good question because it's really hard because I can read people mostly because that's when someone comes to me and wants to be like either wants me as a coach or we're doing lead generation, I can know within the first 15 minutes if we're a good match. Mm-hmm. So that's contradictory to what I said. But my questions are, it's not like I'm observing them. I'm asking questions to see how they're going to react to me.
But you're like, I mean, that's your job though too. Right. So yeah.
So if you're to interview someone within the first 15 minutes, you'll figure out if they're emotionally intelligent or not. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily if you see them at a grocery store. So
15 minutes, okay.
I would say within 15 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Hopefully us three passed.
Yeah. 100%.
But kind of like, did you have something to add?
I was gonna say that makes kind of sense because I have me personally, like the only time I do socialize here and there, but for me it's mainly the gym, and I never took it as that way because like you know how there's people that have like they can show the emotions outside, but when they talk, it's a different type of emotion, like a different attitude or something like that.
Like tone, kind of like
yeah,
your
in a
tone.
way.
Yeah,
in a way. Usually from the tone, I can kind of get it off. I used to be one of those people where I would just judge them based on how they interacted the first interaction or something like that.
You ever seen like those memes? It's like that dude you thought in the gym you hate was actually the coolest dude in the whole gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it literally, like, I have this one big ass dude that goes into my gym, looks mean as hell, and I actually ended up talking to him. He actually came up to me, asking me if I wanted some like energy drink, and then I was like, yeah, because I was actually running out of it, and he asked me, he was like, oh, you got a cool backpack, it's an anime backpack, and then from there we just started talking about anime. He didn't really follow up with a question, but I did because to me, from just that interaction, it seemed like he wanted to like have a conversation and wanted to get to know me. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna open up myself, and from there, he's actually a pretty like soft guy, like
nice,
very good mentality, all that stuff, but very 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 soft guy, and my brain thought the whole opposite. Like,
it's funny because people probably think that of me, you, him, like all of us, right? Like they have a initial opinion about you without even talking to you.
Mm. So I try to like just get that conversation going before I even like just from the example from Blocker. Whether you can know him in an instant or have that 15-minute talk, I prefer the 15-minute talk because then you actually like get something out.
Then
of
you
it.
get you like your first impression might have been wrong because we associate what we know. So you might have known someone that was similar tendencies to him, and you're like, oh, like this is the type of person he is, or right. So it's preconceived, so it's implicit biases and preconceived notions that come into play, and that's how our brain operates. Our brain is super lazy; it doesn't want to do the extra work. So the minute you start the conversation, you just open a new brain network.
That's exactly how my brain works.
So I don't know if I address a certain way, but I've gotten it before where people are like, dude, you're so cool. I just thought you were a douchebag when I first met you. I was like why? Like, what did I do? Like, is it the way I dress or look? But I think that's why it's important. Like, I always make sure to try to talk to people wherever I'm, whether it's a coffee shop or store, just say like, hi, how you doing? Just what are you up to? Just random things like that. I think makes a big difference in your appearance in the public.
Right. And I was trying to think about when you're in my class. I think because, I was a professor, so it was different. You were a student, but you could come across as intimidating.
Damn, Gabe, relax.
And it's because he walked into a room and he carried himself a different way than most students. He was more confident, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, right?
He definitely has that.
So he's very quiet. He's not like so quiet confidence can be seen as intimidating.
That's true. That's why I heard like those are the type of people that a lot of people don't like, because I don't know if it's like insecurity or something, but like I don't even look at it that like I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna walk in this room and be confident. I just in fact actually to open up a little more, it's the opposite. I'm I grew up being a people's pleaser. So I always care about people's opinions about me. So I'm always like, let me make a good impression. Let me say hi to everybody. Make
Right.
sure we're cool with everybody. So that's the mindset I'm in. So it's funny that in my brain that's going on, while other people are thinking like the
Wow.
opposite. Yeah.
He's confident, he's calm, like he's got it together. So that can be intimidating.
But I don't feel like having it
Right.
together. I'm just like, oh, let me make sure that everyone likes me. That's literally what was going on in my brain. Yeah.
Right. So your brain is carrying a false belief because the perception of others is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you go around like, oh my God, like I got to talk to this person, say this person, make sure this person likes me.
Right.
Then that they're thinking like, oh, you're so confident, calm, and collected, and you're racing in your own mind.
Yeah. No, like I kind of struggle with the same thing as you as far as like social anxiety. People disagree with me all the time, but I genuinely don't think that like I force myself to be an outgoing person. Just because like the field I'm in, like in business, real estate, you kind of have to be, right?
Right.
And even something like this, like I think you have to be a little bit outgoing, but it's one of those things where it's like I take a deep breath, I'm like 1, 2, 3, go, and then just like turn it on and just put on this whole persona or whatever.
Exactly. So that's what I do too, because when I was doing some of the assemblies and some of the speaking engagement, sometimes I'm in front of, the biggest crowd was 3,000 people. That was the biggest ever.
Was that the TED Talk?
No, the TED Talk wasn't that big. There's like 100 people in the room, so it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
The 3,000, it must have been an assembly. I just remember that was the biggest number. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of people. And I have a persona. So the TED Talk talks about, so like there's Dr. Peagram, there's Kortney. So it's part of me, but it's different personas that I need to step into. Like if you catch me off the street, I'm very different than if I'm like on a stage. But you're exactly right. I have to step into it. And if I haven't, my brain wasn't ready for it, that's when it's like, wee, like, you know?
Yeah.
Would you say a lot of people think more like how I'm thinking, or do you think more people are genuinely like that confident, just walk in and don't really give a shit about like what people think of them?
So I think some people don't care, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to do. And you know what? Good for you.
I
Good
wish,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're,
Yeah.
but most people struggle. I mean, I remember starting at Elmhurst University when I was my first day, I felt like such an imposter. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. Like, why am I here? Like, everyone was academia. Like, I didn't even know what, like, my title meant. Like, I didn't know what the difference between associate and assistant professor was. I didn't know what the word tenured meant. And I was so afraid to ask because I should, like, you should know. You should know these things. But I wasn't in that field. So how am I supposed to know? And I struggled. It's like the imposter syndrome can really paralyze you sometimes.
Kind of, I guess we're going in like that kind of, influence and presence talk right now. So what makes somebody super impactful when they enter the room? Like what can make them, like when they speak, what can make them super impactful in that room in that moment?
So there's a lot of, if you look that up right now, it's very popular: power, influence, confidence. So go back to your strengths, because most of the time so I call it the trifecta. There's 3 strengths that you hold that no one else has as strong as you. If you focus on your trifecta, that's what makes you the most powerful person in the room. Now, if you go against your strengths and try to be someone else or make yourself small, that's when you lose power. And also it's about reading the room, right? So I didn't talk about this like a lot, but in the anti-bullying, anti-violence work I did a lot of harassment and sexual harassment training. I have a big personality that can be highly energetic, that has to get a room to be like excited to be there, right? But then that side cannot turn on if I'm talking about harassment and sexual, because they'd be like, "What's wrong with this woman?" Like,
It's like, are you guys ready to talk about sexual harassment? Like, imagine.
who's in the house? Like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So reading the room is critical. So one of my top strengths is managing my energy. I know when to calm myself down and I know when to ramp it up. With that, my strength is also shifting. One of the most powerful things about me is I could have had the worst news 2 minutes ago. And they're like, are you ready? 100%. And I'll shift and I'll do whatever I need to do. And then after that, I'll go back to, right? I can pivot real fast. And that takes years of training and stuff just because of the work I did. It makes me laugh. I remember we had to do a big assembly, and one of my employees told me, he's like, hey, so there's a bus on fire, and so I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, okay. So where's the principal? He's on the bus. I was like, okay. He's like, what are you? I'm like, I'm about to talk in front of 200 people. So like, why don't we figure this out? And so I gave him a few strategies, hung up the phone, and then I turned it on. I had to be really high energy for this event I was doing. Yeah. And I got off the stage and I was like, what's going on with the bus, right? So that was a mental pivot and shift. Mm-hmm. Because if I showed up as nervous as I was from the phone call, I would have just missed the mark with my speaking engagement. So kind of recap what I said is find your top 3 strengths and harness them. Then learn how to leverage them so they're malleable, right? So let's go through this. So name one of your strengths. What is one of your top strengths?
Probably just learning a lot, wanting to learn.
Okay, so learning.
Like learning ancient history, mainly.
Okay. So learning is your top strength. So this is how he would leverage this through his career. Asking questions, being curious, right? And so he would know what questions to ask and when to ask them, because his curiosity of learning would be like, oh, this is not meant to learn, this is meant to judge, right? So back to the story about the man with the gym. Mm-hmm. You knew exactly at that moment when to ask the question. It wasn't him. Right. It was you. Yeah. Because your top strength is like, this is a time to learn.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how it's malleable, right? Okay. What is your top strength?
One of them, I'm a good listener. Like when people vent to me, like I'm really good at like just letting them talk and listening to them to every detail. I pay attention to like the little details.
Right. So then how that's malleable is you know what information you're looking for because you're really listening. You're not waiting to talk. And then you probably have a decent memory that you remember things and you connect the dots and solve problems before anyone else because you've listened the entire time and you never waited to talk. That's how it's malleable, right? So it's not just like, oh, I'm a good listener. It plays itself out in your like field of existence in a way that you can use it in very different ways. So what about you?
I want to say something that's like not a typical thing like work ethic or something. I actually think I'm good at bringing people together and making them comfortable to be together. Because like even for example, like we're all friends in high school, but I think you two became a little more close recently. Because like I was like, hey, let's go, like us 3, let's go. Like I'm good at connecting people and creating like lasting relationships between people.
Mm-hmm. So then this is how it becomes. So I agree with you, and because I know a little bit more about you, how it plays out is he's like a connector. He can connect people to different people. He'll probably have like good ideas for speakers and stuff. Because I know a guy, or I know this person, because you're good at connecting people and bringing them together to value that it's not for your own gain, it's for them.
Yeah, like I don't think like I'm going to connect these 2 people so I can get something out of it. I'm like, oh, like I actually enjoy seeing like 2 people have a friendship, you know?
Right. And so that sparks you with purpose, but then you become very valuable to others, right? So you're the connector, you're the listener, and you're the learner. And so this creates then this podcast, right? So I bring the people, I'll really listen, and I'll be able to extract the learning so that our audience gets us. So you're the perfect like trifecta here.
Yeah.
Dude, we just got some free coaching from
you
right
now.
That was a great breakdown.
As soon as she talked about man, I'm like, damn, she's correct about this and this and this. I'm like, what?
So that is coaching. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll write the check after the podcast. No, but I kind of wanted to pivot here and go into talking about like college versus real world. So you know you're my professor before. So what's something that many students of yours have a misunderstanding about about the real world, not just college?
The unspoken rules of business. Oof. So there's a few things. So what I'm seeing now, and I like my colleagues and I talk about it. I don't know if it's a generational thing or it's our students' thing. The lack of gratitude and the more transactional relationships is problematic.
That's generation. Yeah.
So they're like, what are you going to give me? What do I get out of this? So we have this mentorship program. And so we grew it from 11 mentors to 50. So when you started, there was 11. Now there's 50
wow.
mentors. I'm talking CFOs, CEOs, like Aldi, McDonald's, like the biggest companies, but also smaller companies that are amazing, and people that aren't CFO, like CEOs, but are great. But we have to market it as like, look what we have. Like, let's just throw these names out so that we're impressive. But Sally in the room is as impressive as anybody else. She ran 3 businesses, like has all these things and adds value, and actually is a connector. So she usually gets everyone a job by the time they finish the mentorship program who's working with her. But Sally's not going to be the top there because it's not transactional. And so the other issue I've seen with this is, so we'll take the mentorship program, for example. Some of the students, we tell them, it's not just about getting a job. So then they finish the program. I didn't get a job. I'm like, I don't know where you weren't listening. Like, but
yeah, I don't even think you like mentioned like getting a job was part of it. It was just having a mentor.
We repeat that, like someone's not listening, right? And so they don't understand the value of mentorship. A mentorship is not someone they're not a job recruiter. They're not a therapist. They're not there to like tell you what to do and not do. They're there to listen and share stories so that you take their knowledge and use it to help you. They're there to introduce you to people and experiences, right? So a mentor is designed to mold you and show you this whole professional world that you don't know about. Especially if you're first gen, you have no idea what's out there. It is beautiful. So typically our sophomores and juniors get a lot of the program because they're not focused on like job search. But I still see like this transactional effect of like, well, what did I get out of it? Or I'm like, well, what happened about the relational part? Like, and I tell them this story all the time. Like one of my biggest clients came from me sitting in a room and building a relationship with someone that was just a peer of mine, right? But 10 years down the road, he was a VP somewhere at this big financial institution, and I came around and he knew my talent. But it was from us talking. It wasn't from like, hey, what are you going to do for me? Mm-hmm. That attitude's got to stop because it's like breaking down the generations where people are tired of like, what's in it for me? Like there's moments there it's supposed to, right? It's like, but there's a lack of, I can't put my word on it. I almost had it the other because I was trying to figure out like, it's like the self-awareness. They are not aware that the person standing in front of them is also a human that's going through stuff like, and this is another mentor story. One of the mentees came to me, she's like, my mentor is just really not available. I'm like, did you know that she just lost her mother and got into a car accident? So most probably she's not going to be like, oh my God, how are you doing? Do you need a job, internship? Like, it was like, it was like, where are you? Or
they don't see faces. They just see dollar signs or whatever.
Dollar signs or expectations, which I feel is important because I don't feel like you should work for free. But this is not even working. But the lack of gratitude too, of like, thank you for being my professor. So some of them do it. Like, this is the last example I have. So we have Professor of the Year, right? Students have to nominate us. And it takes a lot to nominate because you have to put in an application, then do a video and do an interview. It doesn't cost the students anything, okay? But it's time from them. Now, the flip side is this year we have the lowest amount of students recommending professors, which is really sad because, like, as a professor, you have to love what you do, and you really have to and there's professors that are incredible. So, and the only reason I know this is because I was on the committee looking at it, and it's like, I'm too busy to do this. Yeah, but then you ask your professor for something, and you get upset when they don't do it for you, but you're too busy. It's like it's again transactional, right? And then at the end, the Professor of the Year is not a big thing. It's so big for the professor. Like, it means there's a slideshow. It's like, the reason is I'm going to be braggalicious for a second. I got it last year.
Quick flex.
I got it last year. I was voted. And
you deserve it though, honestly. Yeah.
And thank you. It was like, it was like $1 million was just coming to, I like was so emotional. I like hugged the president. Like, you're not supposed to hug the president. I hugged the president, like bear hugged him. I was so excited. I was just, and there's no financial gain. At the end of the day, there was nothing like, It wasn't like, but to me, it meant everything that those students took the time and did that. And that's the relational part. I will never forget those students. But you know what? And I don't know if these students will ever listen. I have got those students back for the rest of my life. I tell you, I do everything for those 3 students that I like 100, and I'll be their ambassadors. I've read like letters of recommendation, jobs up, like 100%. So that's the relational part, because they did something so in the big scheme of their life small, but it made such an impact that changed the course of my life. Because they didn't know that. That was on my vision board. I just wanted that. So it's transactional versus relational. You never know. Going back to your grocery store story, of you engaging with people. What if you're the first person that said hi to that person today?
That's what I think. Yeah. I'm like, if I see someone with some cool shoes, I'd be like, nice shoes, man. Like, that probably made his day, So.
And it might be the first conversation they're having. Mm-hmm. So these crazy stories of us, not just being transactional towards each other, we're missing the mark.
I think you're right because, well, obviously you're right, but focusing on being just a good human and creating real relationships with people will get you those things that you want in the transactional world versus just looking at the salary that you want, the job you want, and all that.
Or at the end, your gains, right? Mm-hmm. So it's important to gain momentum and stay in your purpose and being driven, but also always remember how you got there. So I love what you talked about, your struggles, right? Remember the people that got you. Didn't do it alone. No one does it alone, right? So that gratitude is the most important quality of someone powerful.
I see time as currency. Mm-hmm. I like to say, because every time doing anything, you're giving time to whatever you're putting on. So you're giving some type of currency, right? So I had a actually good question. Do you think for those people that, for an example, you're asking your students to vote and do all that stuff, do you think it's mainly because there's no there's no goal at the end, there's no money, there's no reward at the end, or is it because they don't want to give out their time, meaning they don't want to put currency, they don't want to take their currency out just to make time making that, you know what I'm saying?
So you're right, so that's a question I want to slightly answer and turn it back to you, because this is your generation, is yes, I 100% agree. Time is money, and that's currency. And
that's kind of valuable to them. Yes. So if them putting time to put in a video, it's just kind of I kind of don't want to do it because it's my time, right. It's my value. Why would I put value into a video or something like that if I'm not getting anything out of it?
Yeah, and then you flip a switch, but then why would someone invest in you? Mm-hmm. Why is someone going to invest their time in you if you don't invest in others? Mm-hmm. Right? So, and back to the idea of I think that we're really stressed out as an entire country, world, right? For sure. And we're focused on tasks and transaction. I got to get the degree. I got to get the assignment done. I got to get my job done. I got to do this and that. And we forget that there's other things around us that are important, that at the end of the day, you're not going to think about when you're looking back at your life, you won't remember and be proud of the late nights you spent at work, the dinners you missed, the games you didn't see, the dates you canceled on, the friends you canceled on, because of the work. You're going to actually reflect and be I wish I would have spent more time with the people I loved in the relational aspects. And so that's the thing. We're stuck on the transactional, but those relational things at the end give so much more, right? I guarantee you those 3 students will remember the impact they had on me because I made sure they knew. That's relational. Mm-hmm. So that then puts money in their bank account, right? Mm. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So if we start looking at it how can we increase, if money and time, or how do I increase my bank account? The minute I do something for you, it comes back tenfold for me, right? In different ways. Maybe not in that moment. It's not a immediate transaction where you're going to Zelle me back.
Yeah.
But you don't know. So we never know what impact we have on others. But if it's with good intention and our money and time is spent to help others and not just for gain, it comes back tenfold. But we forget about that, okay. Right?
Yeah.
So, but my question back to you is, how can we start teaching this skill differently? Because I tried in my diversity class to explain it, and it was lights out. No one was what are you talking about? But if you don't start being more relational as a skill, your transactional takes over your life and you're missing out opportunities every day. So how can I frame it differently?
And I think you'll never feel fully fulfilled on the inside. You're just gonna be like an empty zombie walking around with a nice car, nice bank account, but you're just empty inside. I would rather have some good friends, good people around me, and know that I impacted people's lives in a positive way, and I'm happy with that.
Right?
I think, yeah, it's crazy. Like, our generation, like, I feel like it's so bad. Like, every single place you go, I'll take it like a notch further. Even just friendships, they're all transactional too.
Yeah, and like for an example, for with us, it's kind of like I'll do it for him because I know he'll do it for me anyways.
Yeah,
and I know how
exactly,
he is. So, but for most people, like we do got friends where they're like, "What's in it for me?"
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you're kind of pushing me away from that type of environment because I don't want to be there. I kind of want to be us together, bond in such a way where something probably good comes out of it.
Right. You feel that there's a deeper meaning than just like the transaction part. Like,
Right, exactly, yeah.
and so there's an epidemic of loneliness right now because of that, the transactional things we have. Oh, a like for a like, a comment for a comment. Like,
yeah.
and so maybe that's driving more your I didn't even think about this until I was talking to you. The social media is driving that.
Oh, that's the cancer for everything. Yeah.
It's like the lack of engagement because it's like, well, if I like your post, will you like mine? So let's take that in a more like, so as you're my professor, what will you do for me versus what can I do for you? Right? And then so there's the big epidemic of loneliness, and then there's a fear of failure. And that's like the combo of disaster. Because you're going to drive yourself towards more transactions because you're afraid you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I don't have time for relationships.
Yeah.
I don't have time for friendships. I just got to work.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you're just unfulfilled.
What was your question again that you were trying to get to?
So back to the question to you.
Yeah.
So now how do I kind of get through that, hey, because I try. Relations are important. Like, how do I decrease the amount of transactional relationships students are having so that they see the importance of transactions that are relational?
That's a good question. I think the first thing you could probably do is show outcomes of someone who is relational versus transactional. I think you maybe using some real life, I don't know if that's the best in like a classroom setting, but maybe using some real life examples, because you hear stories all the time about super rich people who are lonely and they're living at home and nobody talks to them unless they know they're getting something out of him because he's rich.
Right.
So I think that maybe showing some examples of successful people who are relational and successful people who are transactional.
So I like that because it then shows the storyline.
Because you can still be successful with being relational is what you're trying to get to your students. I'm trying to think of like a good example of somebody who's like relational, who's super successful in the world, like any celebrities or anything. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch, right?
So I hate bringing this up because you're all going to be like, oh, but I'm going to do it. Tay, Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my God. I know, right? I love her, so.
I don't know anything. I don't know much about her yet.
Someone's like, oh, my God, here she goes.
I know her boyfriend or her husband.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Travis.
I think that's a guy thing, though.
But he's relational, too. So if you look through her history, like, and not her music, but her history of, like, what she's gone through. She was attacked. She was canceled. She was told all these things. But what she focused on is one relation at a time. She went out to her fan base when Twitter was a thing and be like, thanks, Emma, for she built her following through one person at a time, one relation at a time, and built this. When she was in concerts across the country, she was boosting the economy.
Yeah.
Right? So those are two things that are factual. She did it one person at a time because she knew that it's that connection. Like, she cares about me, she sees me, and that person never stopped following her. Right? So it's beyond her music. It's her ability to care about her fans. Because there's a bunch of singers that could be as equally as her, but they don't give as much as she does. I mean, her concert, she gives 110% for her fans. So that's the only example, like, celebrity that came to mind.
It doesn't even have to be celebrity. It could be like just people we know around the area or anything like that too. Do you guys have any like ideas to help her with that?
No, I honestly that
It's tough. It's a tough question.
because it's a rare find either as
Yeah.
well to just
I don't know if this is gonna help, but like people who like provide a lot of value, like that's who like gets the most things. I feel like it's like networking. Like when you want to network with someone, you're not gonna be like, hey, like, give me this tactic, and then I'll give you a tactic. Like you try to provide value. Like, hey, it's like you get to know them as a person. You don't try to take something from someone when you're trying to network with anybody.
Right. So I love that because I teach that, and it's like when you go to a networking event, you don't say, and you think what you said is brilliant, right? That's the way to do it. Every time I go to a networking event, someone will be like, oh, they try to sell me something. They're trying to push it. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Like, and now I'm not even going to be interested in your product because you're pushing yourself onto me transactionally versus trying to figure out who I am. It was like, I got a LinkedIn message the other day. Someone was like, hey, so you would be great for a TED Talk. I was like, oh, hey, Amy, like, I just want to let you know I already did one. So it's like, I appreciate you thinking I'd be great for it. And I was really kind about it, but I was like, girl, read the profile. Like, it's on my first.
She didn't look into it at all.
She didn't. She just went transactionally.
She probably copy and pasted that message too. Not
Yeah.
gonna
So
lie.
it's like when we do that,
Yeah.
those are transactionals. So networking is the same thing. You don't push your resume or push your like, right? You get to know the person.
Honestly, every opportunity I've gotten in the business world has been because they like me.
Yeah.
For me, like I will talk to somebody like some guy. We'll just start talking about like basketball or boxing or something random, and just get to know them, become friends, and then business comes later. And it's kind of funny how it works because I'm not really looking to do business with them. I'm actually just trying to, like, I guess you could say, be in the presence of somebody who's been successful in whatever field it is, to kind of learn from them.
So then what happens is because you're getting to know me, I get curious about what you do, and then I like how you make me feel. So then I want to engage with you more. And I think we would be good to do business because I think you're trustworthy, you're ethical. All these things are coming out as I'm getting to know you. And so that's the relational part. And it goes back in your networking is never being transactional.
Yeah, if you put relations first, the transactions will automatically just come along with it. I that's what I believe, and that's what's happened so far in whatever career I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I have something to say. So like in business, you might have experienced this maybe. Like especially in like sales and stuff, like a customer doesn't care about like what you have to offer them. They care about like how much you care about them as a person or situation. Like when you do your job, right? You don't do your job just for the paycheck and the money. Like you actually want to help them transition from career to career. Like you actually genuinely want to help them. You're not there like, oh, I'm just here for my money. Like you actually like get into the details and care. So.
And so it was funny you said that, and I felt like such alignment because I was thinking about our current way we sell right now on social media. It's like the call to action, the, push the product, push the service. There's 4 strategies, like all these things. And so I'm going to say something very contradictory that I truly believe in. And I still believe that it's still about just teaching. And when someone's ready, they'll come to you versus you pushing like, this is what you need from me. I think there's a call to action is important, but not every post you make, because then you're just like a social media car salesman, right? Just pushing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like people, if they like you, they will buy constantly from you. But if you're just pushing yourself, they'll eventually be like, ooh, like that's too pushy.
So I did personal training for a long time, like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And I started off in like a commercial gym, and then I started my own business with it. All of my clients were just referrals. And a lot of people ask me like, how do you get like all these clients all the time? I'm like, honestly, I just focus on the task at hand. This person wants to get in shape. I get them in shape. They just become a walking billboard for me. And they like me and they see the person I am. Because I mean, it's a pretty like personal thing. It's a personal trainer, right? You know so much about them. You just automatically just start talking about life and everything because you're doing something, like an activity together, right? And I just think that I focused a lot on being good at my job and having fun with it and getting to know that person and creating a relationship outside of the task at hand as well. And that's what caused them to be like, hey, my friend wants to get in shape. I'm going to recommend you. Or my friend needs to get in shape. I'm going to tell him he should start using you. So I just think also being good at what you do is important as well.
So there's a few things we want to extract from what you said. So your clients, so let's say product or service, are the walking billboard. They're the results. So everyone sees the results. They're like, where'd you get these results, right? Additionally, what you said is you had fun doing it. Like, coming back to what you said too, is like, when you have passion and purpose towards what you're doing, it shows, and people like that, right? You care. Then also you're building relationships outside of work. So you're getting to see their network and figuring out, like, they can see you in their network and be like, oh, I can introduce this person and that person, right? So that's the relational component.
Basically what we're doing is we're doing a salesy thing, but in like a very moral way. You know what I mean? I think, like I said, we're going to keep repeating it over, but just focusing on creating a long lasting relationship with somebody can go so much further than anything.
Than a short-term transaction, right?
Yeah, well, I don't want to take any more of your time up. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Do you have anything?
Yeah, but go ahead, because mine are going to be complex, probably.
I have one last question. It's not for me. It's for like people viewing. For anyone that like ever wants to be a business psychologist, or executive coach, what's like one general piece of advice you will have for them?
So your biggest strength, you have to listen.
Okay.
You always, so executive coaches that struggle, and they will never admit they struggle, because executive coaches have sometimes big egos too, because I train them. They don't listen, because usually they're experts in one sort of, an executive coach typically has enough experience, right, that they can pull from their own experience and resources, right? So it's hard to listen because I know exactly what you need, so I'm just going to wait till you're done talking and I'm going to ask you a question. But when you really listen, that's the beauty for therapy, for business coaching, for executive coaching. It's in any field. Like, just like you talk, when you listen to your clients, right? When you listen to learn, that's the skill that is underutilized, and people don't want to hear it. Even like, so I'm a big fan of Jefferson Fisher. He's a lawyer that talks about social skills. He wrote the book, I'm probably going to mess up his book right now. But Jefferson Fisher, it's The Next Conversation. Thank you. I love what he has to say. And he had this one clip. And in the clip, he says, I'm telling you all the things to say, like comebacks, how to like stop a bully, how to like win an argument, like all these things, right? But he's like, it really comes down to listening. But my listening videos never get enough views. And like that hit me at the core, because I 100% agree. We don't want to listen. We wait to talk. And so every time that happens, we miss an opportunity. So your biggest strength is what's going to make you the most successful.
So you're an executive coach that coaches executive coaches.
Yeah,
That's
would
some
be
inception shit right there. Yeah, right?
that would be the best way to explain. So I have like normal clients, but
Yeah.
I train. So you cap out at a certain amount of skills, and then so I train you. Basically, what I'm doing is on listening. They're called transition statements, and like kind of what we did, where I pulled everything out, and kind of that's a framework, and it's a way to do that. So I train on that. So conceptual theories, I train on how to use them in a pragmatic, systematic way.
You had something, Hugo?
Yeah. It's actually an off-topic question from this, but since you're in psychology, I kind of want to ask
I don't know where
this.
you're going. I was actually going to bring it up earlier. I was waiting for you to bring it up.
I don't think it's the one you're thinking about. I just thought about this. It's been a while that I had in my head. So it's about actually being scared, right? So
that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. It's completely different. So one of the things that humans are naturally scared of is scared of heights and scared of sounds. Loud sounds, to be specific. Everything else is just a phobia of like past genes and stuff like that. So One thing that I did notice as a kid, and then I listened to a podcast about it, about how your mind ends up tricking you of being scared when you don't see a threat. Do you know why that is?
So your mind triggers you in being scared when there's no threat.
Yeah, when you can't even see the threat.
Like you're just making up threats in your
Yeah,
head.
in your head. So, like, for an example, it could be like, let's just say you watch a movie, a scary movie, and you're about to turn off the lights, and you got to turn off the last one, but you guys still got to walk a long way, like a long hallway to get to your room, and you're instantly putting yourself like there's a monster behind me.
There's a monster.
Or it could be just a sound, like let's just say you hear a crack when you know there's like no branches nearby.
So let's take this and let's build it out a bit. So from the scary movie, that's more pragmatic, right? I saw a movie,
sure, yeah.
so then I will. So that'd be like displacement, right? I saw the movie. My life's like the movie. What happened in the movie will happen to me. So then these fears are built. So my parents struggled with money my entire life. Like my dad, like couldn't catch a break. My mom. So then you displace. That's my life. So that would be like the movie analogy, right? So.
Right.
Because what I saw my parents see, like go through, I will go through it too. So every time there's a slight fear coming up, I'm going to anticipate it to avoid it because I didn't like what I saw. So that could be one thing. Okay? Because the movies in our lives, like the stuff that we see, so remember, all we want to be as humans is safe.
Right,
So,
correct, yeah.
right. So we don't care what if safety means I'm in a toxic relationship, but I know how to protect myself. That's safe for me. I'll stay there. That's why people don't often leave, right? It's not because they don't like. It's because they feel like this is the best that they're safe in that situation, right?
Yeah.
So to other people, they're not safe, but they know how to manage that, right? So it depends on the level of trauma and all that. But like, say the scary movie, right? You'll displace it and feel like whatever happened in that movie will happen to me. So anytime I hear, feel, smell, or sense something that's similar to that movie, I'm going to be proactive and be afraid of something that's not there, just in case, right? Now, so that's the analogy of the movie. Now let's go back to the fears as adulthood come in. Fear of failure. So, and this is, I think, human fears. Everyone has this once we grow up in a society, right? Fear of failure, fear of not being liked, fear of not belonging, so just fear of rejection, right? So saying no to someone. So these fears then are instilled from society, right? From the situations we've been through, like, and sometimes we all remember in middle school when we've been disinvited from a party, not invited to a party, or a friend shift. That feeling was horrible. So maybe, actually, no. Making this point, I worked so many in middle school for years. Maybe what happens in middle school carries through in college, and you just want to be transactional because of that pain that you felt. Of when I was relational and I gave all my love to my friends, they just turned their backs on me in a second, right? So I think it's what you've been through, what you've seen, and that projects onto your future. But the thing that's interesting is we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
So you're afraid of something that, and so most of the time, and so this is from experience, I do things scared all the time, 110%. Like, and I'm like, I fail a lot, but I don't see them as failures. I was like, whoa, that sucked. That was a great learning. Let's try it again. But if I don't try, then I'll never know, right? So I took the unconventional path. My entire career, my entire life has been unconventional, but I did it scared, and I actually don't really have any regrets, right? There's things I could have done better, right?
Right.
But
everybody can say that though, yeah.
I could do better, and I always love it because I always get a second chance to do it better. You know, when I did my doctorate, everyone in the doctorate the first time they applied got in, and I was the only one that was rejected. I remember that sense of rejection, and it hurt because then I was like, I had to tell everybody that I didn't get in. And I'm a first gen, so my parents didn't even know what a doctorate was. Like not a medical doctor. They knew medical, but not for psychology. And also my father believed that psychology was a belief system. He's like, I don't believe in psychology. I'm like, Dad, that's not a thing. Like, you just can't, like, it's actually a real thing, right? So he just thought it was like woo woo. He thought psychology was woo woo.
Yeah.
So that's
It's pretty common, actually.
it's pretty crazy. So with that said, long story long, where I'm coming from is everyone went through that doctoral program and they graduated in that cohort and they did great things. There's one caveat from that. They all graduated with a different degree. Then when I reapplied and took a chance again, be like, I'll try it again, try to reapply, and I got in, I ended up with a PhD. And so just going to be technical, they got a PsyD, which are both doctorates, right? But in our society, no one knows what a PsyD is. Everyone knows what a PhD is. So I was meant to not get into that cohort so I could get the PhD. So there's a reason for every time you're rejected, every time something doesn't work out, there's a reason for it, and you have to figure out that reason, because if not, if you internalize it, you're like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, it's me, it's never you. There's just a redirection that happens. And that perspective changes your life, where you're no longer afraid to do something. You're looking for the uncertainty. Because what do you have to lose? Right? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I ask myself, like, what do I have to lose? And sometimes I do things and I'm still afraid. Like, I don't like rejection. I don't like no. I'm like, I struggle with people-pleasing tendencies too. And so it's, these things, but I just do it and then see after.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're still there. You're still
there. You're still there.
Nothing happened bad. It's just someone said no, and you can carry on and move on.
Right. And maybe that no is sending you in a different direction.
Yeah, because sometimes when things get rejected, you think over, like, why? Mm-hmm. Why was it said no? Was the idea? Was the way I said it? How I presented it? Whatever.
Exactly. And then, every time, like, if you look at your life and just start every day, at the end of the day, you close your day and be like, what were, like, the main things that I accomplished? What direction? What did I do scared today? Just do one thing scared, right?
Right.
And then at the end of the day, you'll constantly grow. And when I look back at my life, every rejection, no, or things that didn't work out for me gave me something so much better that my little mind at that point couldn't see past. Like, I just could see, like, I'm not successful. I'm not good enough. This is why but it had nothing to do with me. Like, it was just not meant at that time.
Right, yeah. No,
so,
yeah.
Little philosophical, but that's how I see things. So I always do it scared, terrified, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like it.
I think that's a great way to end it. I, really appreciate you coming on again. I know it was a little bit of a drive, but hopefully...
You don't want to ask her, like, the last question we ask everybody?
Oh, what's the last question?
Oh, the last question is... What's the last question? You ask it this time.
So when knowing what you know already and how far you come in your life, where you're at right now, if you were able to reset back to, I don't know, 1820...
Oh, I don't... Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to have to do it all over again. But I mean, she kind of answered. That's why I wasn't going to ask it. She said she doesn't have regrets on anything.
That is true.
Yeah,
but there's always like that one thing where you kind of want to like.
So basically, the question I ask is, if you had to go back, you were forced to go back, however many years before your career, what would you do differently?
So that's really funny because I take walks every morning with my dog, and I like to talk to myself. It's the only time. So, and actually, it's a sign of intelligence, but it helps me reflect out loud. I maybe put an earpod in so I don't look that crazy in public. But I also ask myself the question often, like, if I could go back to the younger version of myself, what would I say to her so that she could see what I am now? Because I don't regret anything, but sometimes, darn, I wish I would have known sooner, right? I wish I would have told when I was in college, right? I didn't do well in college. And my dad didn't want me to be a psychologist. He wanted me to go in business because that's where it is. But you know why? Because he only got an 8th grade education. So he didn't understand. He thought that every time he showed up in a meeting, because he didn't have a degree, that's why people didn't want to do business with him, that he wasn't good enough, right?
Most of the time, it's our parents' projections of themselves onto us, yeah.
Right? So yesterday in walking, this story's going somewhere. So yesterday walking, I was thinking about my younger self. And I remember like the people-pleasing tendencies, right? when I was growing up, it was a chaotic household, and I didn't like to be a nuisance. I didn't like to be annoying. So I wouldn't ask for what I needed or what would be normal, because I was afraid if I asked for that, like, I'd be annoying, or my mom would feel like I'm a nuisance. She has 4 other kids. Like, it's I'm sorry, 4 total. And I was just like, I was the oldest. I had to not show emotion, not be too much, not be like, and so I would tell my 7-year-old self, girl, ask for it, go for it. And you're never annoying. But if you don't do that, you're going to grow up feeling that, like, you want to make yourself smaller. You don't want to shine too bright because, oh, are you okay? Because if I shine too bright, then are you okay? Like, am I making you feel small? If I'm being emotional, is it because you're uncomfortable because I'm attuned, right? And if I'm asking for my basic needs because you can't provide it, is that my fault, right? So I feel, to your question, always go back to that version of yourself that was really struggling and tell them, hey, be confident, ask her out, like, do the thing, start the business, right? Because the more you wait and sit on it, the more it stews. And then these things, as you get older, they project themselves into real fears in your head that impact your life. So that was my closing.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
No.
Beautiful.
Thanks again for coming on.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you for
you.
having. This is awesome. Like, I love this setup. Like,
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Made the drive worth it, at least somewhat.
oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, this is so worth it. 100%. Like,
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, besides that, you know where to check us out on all our socials, YouTube and all that. We'll link all your stuff down. I know you have your podcast and your businesses and all that, so we'll make sure to link all that down below on the comment section. Or whatever. I don't do this part usually, but yeah, we'll link it down below. And yeah, thanks again.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.